And now to honor America, please stand and remove your cap for the performance of our national anthem.
Shouting every week, Louis van Gaal's Army! Louis van Gaal's Army!
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Whoo! How we doing, sir?
Dude, effective win, not pretty. Manchester United 2, Brighton 0. We advanced to the semis. Going to Wembley, sir.
Need a win. We needed a win to bounce back off after Sevilla. Wasn't pretty.
A lot of drama. A lot of drama in the press. Jose going off, pregame presser, getting fired up, saying all these crazy claims. I think he's backtracking on those insulting words after the Sevilla match. So lots of drama to break down here.
Gloves are off. Gloves are officially off from Jose Mourinho. He's not pulling any punches.
He's kind of losing his mind. He's kind of like the Donald Trump of the English Premier League.
It only takes the second year to start showing the fray, and he's showing a little fray.
Yeah, I could understand his tactics. Like, I think what he said after this match should have been what he said after the Sevilla match, just blame it on the players, but to come out and insult the club, I think that was a little much, and it didn't sit well with the fans the whole week.
I mean, fans definitely did not appreciate the United knows how this feels line, but if you look statistically at our record in knockout matches, it's not terrific. Even under Fergie, he only got the 2, but you still shouldn't say it. It's like not worth saying. There's no upside in being like, yeah, we're used to getting knocked out.
Well, there was a huge gap for Real Madrid before they started just winning them like it ain't no thing.
There was, but
I think every team has trouble in Europe, and it kind of ebbs and flows. I mean, look at Juventus. They've been to the final twice, they haven't won it. And it's like, Europe's no joke. You play Barca, you play Real Madrid, you got to show up.
Dude, it's hard. It's probably, other than the World Cup, it's the hardest thing to win. But you should know better, right? Like, the fans are always going to be sensitive about something like this, where the club's prestige and legacy is at stake. So you should tread lightly, especially after people are all pissed off after a loss like that, going out to an inferior team in the Champions League. You should know better.
But either way, he came back. Pre-game presser was all fired up, saying that he's here to stay and that we need new players.
12-minute monologue.
12 minutes of just like Jose Mourinho saying nonsense. I don't know if it's lost in translation. We have to remember English is not his first language, but it's not coming off right. He was known as the great communicator for a long time, and I think that communication is breaking down. I think that word heritage wasn't right.
I think he meant legacy, but I appreciated the passion.
Or history,
Something. He's like, I got this shit team I inherited, whatever it is.
That wasn't too good. I mean, LVG, Darmian, Schneiderlin, there's a lot of players that kind of went
Schweinsteiger,
wayward.
Depay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad buys. But that being said, I think you gotta buck up. He's brought in a lot of talent. I think you gotta be like, hey, the guy I spent 90 million pounds on is like not playing well.
We're second in the league as well.
Still second in the league.
Second in the league. We won Europa last year, so there's got to be some credit. He did bring in silverware. He's 10 months off his last trophy. I just think the best thing to do here, ignore Mourinho, focus on the results on the pitch. Listening to him and trying to make sense of what he says is going to make us lose our minds.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes he gives you too much honesty. Sometimes you get no honesty. So Mourinho, it's really like you don't know what you're going to get. Depends on the day, depends on the mood. But he had a job to do against the Seagulls.
Yeah, enough of the soap opera that is Jose Mourinho's press conferences and post-game interviews. Let's just jump into the match, sir. We had a lineup 4-2-3-1. Romero in net replaces Dave Saves. This is his competition. He's the number 1 for Argentina, so maybe Jose's trying to give him some time for the World Cup. Valencia, Bailly, Smalling, Luke Shaw with the start. McTominay, Matic, Mata, Lingard, Martial, Lukaku. Rashford benched. Mata back into the side. Lingard still gets a start after Sevilla. What were your feelings about this lineup? What'd you think?
A little surprised. I was happy to see Romero, but no Pogba. no Sanchez. Sanchez made more.
Pog benched.
Pog benched again. No Sanchez, which makes more sense because I think he started 10 games in a row since joining. He's older, but Pogba, man, what's going on, dude? Sir.
Well, it's also, he got a lot of stick for not playing McTominay, starts the kid again, and then, puts in Mata to try to liven things up. Although Lingard was pretty dead in Sevilla, and I was kind of concerned about him playing. Like we've talked about in the past, Lingard as a sub looks money. You start him, he just sometimes just looks dead, can't get into the game. I was concerned about him playing 10 again because it didn't really come off against Sevilla. And his immaturity in that role shows. Whereas, if Amata were to play a 10, I think he'd be a little more lively or a little more conservative with the ball. Sanchez going out, you got to start Sanchez. I think Sanchez has to be starting over Lingard in that position, so I don't agree with that. Great to see Martial. Either way, it's Brighton. You got to win with this team.
You got to win. You're at home. The snow is falling. That's probably in Brighton's favor because more likely to get like a rough and tumble game.
Sloppy
if the weather,
Joes.
yeah, exactly. If the weather's crap. But would have liked to see Sanchez, right? I mean, we don't have a game for 2 weeks. International break's coming up. Huge game for us. Last piece of silverware that's up for grabs. I was a little surprised the lineup.
Yeah, it was kind of a ragtag crew, but, they got to do the job.
Still got big Luke up there, bro.
The professionals, right? So they got to do the job. First half, jumping right in, it looked more the same from Sevilla. Couldn't hold on to the ball. There was no structure to our build-up. Back four looked clueless, trying to pass it up. And this is where I think the Lingard start kind of hurt us. He went missing against Sevilla. He was missing here. Playing him as number 10 when he's not able to come back, get the ball, looking between the lines for the correct pass. Jose said he was working on all this stuff this week, and the team just didn't execute, and it looked pretty shaky for the first 30 minutes. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, we weren't very direct. Didn't have a lot of. We had some possession, but we weren't really doing anything with it. We weren't getting into the final third.
A few hoof balls from Valencia on the wing, going to no one just because of pressure from Brighton at home. Again, we're playing at Old Trafford.
Not quick enough, right? It's always been not quick enough, not enough urgency. I think it's always been the issue with our play going forward is that we sit on the ball too long. We always wait an extra second. Too many touches, too long on the ball. It's got to be quick. When we've looked good, it's been quick. And one of the best chances we had wasn't until the 29th minute. Tiki-taki stuff between Martial and Mata, which led to a deflected shot. For Mata at the end, she probably should have passed Lukaku, who was sitting there waiting to just slam it home. But that was good. It was one-touch stuff. It's what you need to break a team like this, right? A team who's going to put all 11 behind the ball, all 11 in the box defending. You got to play it quick. You're not going to play long ball. If the shit doesn't work, you need to get the ball quickly within space. And I found that to be the only way that's going to break down a team.
You get a shot. You want the ball at those two players' feet. Martial and Mata in the box are going to do amazing things. I thought it was maybe a few too many passes. Should have had the shot, but it looked good. And that's just like a glimpse of the class we have on the field. If you really look at the two teams, Manchester United should be bullying Brighton off the pitch. We should be owning the middle of the pitch. Our Matic and McTominay should have their pick, passing it to Mata, Lingard, Martial, Lukaku. They should be opening up space. Lukaku should be getting great crosses in, and it's just not coming off. At the beginning of the season, we said Lukaku needs the service. He is alone, just trying to work by himself. He's doing amazing this season, but if he had better service, it'd be 2-3 a game. Easy. He could bully those Brighton defenders, no problem. And there's just a disconnect there. A disconnect between the wingers.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason he's not vying for the golden boot. Salah's ripping it apart. Kane was tearing it apart before he got injured. But, if he was getting appropriate service every game, he would have over 20 goals in the Premier League already. He just hit 25, which is amazing. But, dude, it's a lack of service. The guy's doing everything right else.
Exactly.
He's all over the pitch. But you're picking on Lingard, which is fair. But also, McTominay had his first bad game for United. Martial was kind of absent for most of the game. I think Matic played pretty well. I think Matic played great, and Lukaku was doing a shift. But it seems to be like a drop-off. Some of the players show up, some players don't show up. Lingard did not show up.
Yeah, we're not on the same page, and 30th minute, Smalling, chance off of a corner, I believe. Then he hits the bar. He had a near-post chance, and, Chris Smalling, at least he hit the target. At least he hit the target.
Does the bar count? I don't know if the bar counts the target.
I think that's the target.
At
At least
he
he hit the
didn't
post.
sky
It
it.
counts.
At least he didn't
At
sky
least
it.
he hit the net or the goalie or
He
something.
hit something. At least it struck something.
Smalling looks pretty poor in front of net, but either way, it was a great chance. And 29th minute we had a threat. 30th minute we had a threat. Just one quick strike, and we could have been in this game. But we had to keep working.
And then more action, right? All the way at the end of the pitch. Brighton has a corner, and Duffy, free header, but Romero was able to save well. McTominay went sleeping, didn't even put a challenge in. And luckily, it's just Duffy.
Romero looked sharp.
He did.
He's been sitting on that bench getting cold, but he came in. He had to make a few serious saves to stay in the game, so it's good to know that our backup is pretty close to Dave's saves. He's had to do a job coming in different competitions and coming off the bench and always looks sharp. So don't hate on Romero. He's going to be starting for Argentina this summer.
It's a Manchester United tradition, probably since Fergie left, that you always like to challenge your goalkeeper. The defense likes to they don't like to make it too easy for a goalkeeper, whether it's Romero or De Gea. We're always going to leak in some balls, give you some chances that really, like a good defense should not that shouldn't even be on net, right? Because the defense should be there. But Romero doing a job, good backup.
Hey, thanks for sitting on the bench, Romero. 37th minute, despite all of our moaning and complaining about how terrible the football looked, we get a goal from Big Luke. Matic hit the ball first time left foot cross in. Lukaku beats a man, slam dunks and flexes, scores the goal that was much needed for us. Despite the ugly football, Lukaku's class is the difference. Lukaku and Matic, they both look good. Those other players we mentioned might not look good, but those two, that's all it takes. We get a goal. We're leading 1-0.
That's enough. I mean, it could have been just one goal to decide this game. But this is better, right? It was quicker stuff. Shaw gets the ball to Matic, and he puts it in first time. And, dude, Lukaku, bro, far post. If you get the ball to Lukaku on the far post.
Doesn't miss.
All day, bro. Just slam dunk. Love it.
Yeah, so going in a half, leading by a goal. I mean, I think every fan was just like, oh, my God, what are we watching? But we're winning. Again, this classic flack Mourinho's been getting. It looks ugly, but it's effective. The class and two players can make the difference. I think that first time for Matic is really the key. We don't have enough first-time balls, and that's how you're going to break these sides down, especially when you have Lukaku up front. Get the ball in.
Early. Get it in early and often. He's a beast. 6'3", he's enormous, he's strong, and he's good in the air, so get him the ball. It's a shame we have very few players who can actually cross. But, the best we looked at half was when it was quick. It's got to be quick. It's like Mata and Martial playing the one-touch stuff. You got Matic getting into Lukaku early. It's like you got to be quick to beat a team. It's like you don't just sit, slow it down. It's got to be fast. It's got to be direct. That was the best we looked at half. So what would you be saying if you're Mourinho going into second half?
I think subs needed to be made. I think Lingard had to get the hook. But he actually takes off Luke Shaw for Ashley Young, which might be the end of Luke Shaw at Manchester United. He comes in, starts one game in a long time.
Hooked at halftime. And they're winning.
I didn't necessarily think he did a terrible job. I don't think he did a great job. You don't like Ashley Young, and you're more of a Luke Shaw fan. So what did you think of the substitution coming out of half?
Not that I don't like Ashley Young. It's just I think we should be in a position.
In the past,
I just don't. Let me square it away. Let me square it away. I just think we're in a position that in 2018, Manchester United's starting left back should not be Ashley Young. If it's Luke Shaw or not,
I agree.
It just irks me a little bit.
But because of the Luke Shaw saga, Ashley Young is our left back.
Yeah, and
the manager rates him. So
there you go. So what do I know? But I didn't see this coming in. I thought either maybe bring in Pogba, right? Maybe bring in Sanchez. I did not think Young for Shaw.
I thought Sanchez for Lingard.
That would have been a good sub.
Or you could do Pogba for McTominay, but I think McTominay's even better at defense than Pogba.
Yeah.
Either way, slim chances for CDMs.
Anyway, this is not the sub I would have expected. Shaw does not look good for Shaw. I think Luke Shaw is getting shipped. Maybe to Spurs somewhere, but he'll probably tear it up wherever he goes. But
Scholes said in the post game, it looks like the end of Luke Shaw at Manchester United.
I think it's hard to argue, bro.
We're
up a goal, dude. We were up. I mean, whatever.
Well, he didn't play well under LVG. He didn't play well under Mourinho. I mean, he did have the leg break. The best Luke Shaw we saw was before the leg break, so it's kind of a sad story. It seemed that LVG got him in form after a year. But if you have issues with every manager that comes into Manchester United, there's probably something wrong with the player. He didn't even look fit. Looks a little chub when he came on.
Did look a little chub.
And like Paul Scholes says, it looks like the type of player needs to be playing week in, week out because he can't keep the LBs off.
It's the English mold, bro. It's like, it's that's the Rooney cut.
It's also when you get. It happens when you're young.
Chips, dude, brown ales, man. They catch up on you.
Well, you're so young, you're getting paid so much money, and the hype train's way ahead of where you are. And I think that happened for Luke Shaw. So tragedy, another tragedy for England. Another tragedy for Manchester
Yeah,
United.
Luke Shaw will be like on the bench if he's lucky, but he'll probably Ashley Young will be starting over him in the World Cup.
Yeah,
Won't even make
yeah.
the team.
And Shaw earned his keep in the second half. But getting in 57th minute, best Brighton chance of the game falls to Lacadia, who whips in a shot. Romero saves well. That was a clear chance at net. Could have been a goal. Romero put to work again.
He was, and the second half was like more marauding stuff. Like
Yeah, it didn't look like we had a grip on the game. Even if we were trying to park the bus, it didn't look like
not
we were
even
doing a
that
good
was
job,
done with
yeah.
conviction. Everything was done like kind of laissez-faire. No one was like, a couple guys were showing some heart, but for the most part, we were kind of just like going through the motions.
Yeah, going through the motions. 1-0 up at home, inviting Brighton to equalize.
The only
Yeah,
game that
tough
matters
stuff.
now. It's like going through the motions.
Hey, 75th minute attacking sub from Jose. He's going for the 2-0, trying to kill the game. Puts in Rashford for Mata. Can't believe Lingard didn't come off the bench. And that led to
83rd minute, free kick from outside the box, and Young finds Matic at the far
Who?
post.
Who?
Young finds
Ashley Young,
Ashley
that
finds-
class
he
utility player. He can cross the ball,
On occasion, 1 out of 10, he'll get it right.
Hey.
And he finds Matic. And you know what? If Matic didn't hammer it home, Big Luke was there for his brace. He was
Hungry,
he was
yeah.
waiting. He's like, get out of my way. So good on Matic. To another goal, second goal for United in 3 weeks. So he's feeling well. That's a great little header.
He comes from Serbia.
Fucking Murdia.
Nemanja.
Good goal on Matic, huh?
Great goal. Love to see Matic on the score sheet. Like Jose said, Lukaku and Matic, they're the ones that are stepping up right now. They're the players that are class alone on the pitch right now. And they want it, dude. They're working hard, and you can see the passion and how much they're fighting for the badge. And that's all I can ask for as a Manchester United fan. Look, these two signings came in last summer, and they're the two best players on the pitch, other than De Gea, who was on the bench today.
Yep.
But seeing those two players come in this summer, earning their keep at Manchester United, that's what we need. We need more players like that. We need less Luke Shaws, less Schneiderlins, less Depay's. We need people stepping up for the team. And these two players doing a job. Can you believe it? One was Chelsea, one was at Everton. What do you know?
Former Chelsea. They're both Chelsea players. Thank you, Chelsea. No, and it's true. It's like they are undeniably Manchester United players. They might have the legacy with Chelsea, but I look at Matic and I see a Manchester United player. He won Premier League titles with Chelsea, but I have all hope he's going to win it with us
He
as well.
also dismissed Chelsea. He also made a dismissing comment of Chelsea, which is also endearing to all the Manchester United fans. And hey, for all the hate on Jose Mourinho, these are his two purchases. And they're out there earning their keep on the pitch, putting us in the semifinal of the FA Cup. Everyone needs to remember that. I mean, he does have a little bit of a point when it comes to the Moyes signing and the LVG signing. I mean, Mata was a great signing, but not that week in, week out starter who's been giving us that return he had for Chelsea. But Mourinho's purchases, they're paying dividends. So
better.
give him another $200 million this summer. I'm all in for it.
Compared to Van Gaal, bro. Van Gaal, all of his purchases were pretty crap. Pretty crap. Darmian, Schneiderlin, Depay,
Blin doesn't even play
Schweinsteiger.
anymore.
I mean,
Yeah.
Blin, I always liked Blin.
I know you like
Blin.
Blin. Blin's very endearing, but it's like, he shouldn't be starting.
No,
for
he shouldn't.
Manchester
He's
United.
a
He should be
utility player.
Sit on the bench, bring him in.
Yeah.
Someone gets injured, he can do a job. But I like to see an Ashley Young doing that. Ashley Young, from the Sir Alex era, signed him from Aston Villa.
Aston Villa, man. He's one of the last left. Understands the way that Fergie liked to play. So
yeah, for all the hate of Mourinho, you got to give him credit. These two players are playing the best for our team right now, and they're both Mourinho signings.
And they wanted to play for Mourinho, right? They came here. I'm sure part of it was the allure of playing for Manchester United, but a big part of it was the fact that they liked playing under Mourinho. So we can all slay Mourinho, worst coach ever, but the players like to play for him. The players that can cut it, the players that show the passion on the badge, they're the ones that want to play for him.
But on the flip side, you also have Pogba. So you know what? That's Mourinho as well. Like De Bruyne didn't work. A lot of good players don't work for him, but the ones that do are very effective, and I'm glad to see that. Closing out the match, we had an 89th minute sub. Everyone wanted to see the big tree come on. Fellaini.
Throw some
Coming on,
elbows
wasting
around.
time. Comes on for Lingard, who I think should have been hooked earlier. We close it out 2-0. Effective result, 2 shots on target, 2 goals. We win, going to Wembley. That's what all the Manchester United fans want, but the performance just looked pretty ugly. Maybe it was the snow. Maybe it was the weather. Maybe it's just because we're not playing that well. I don't know, sir. What do you think?
I don't know, sir. 61% possession, but we only had 2 shots on target. Both were goals, which is great. They had 6, no goals. So at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But, I have to imagine that Manchester United fans overall were pretty like, man.
Especially with the Sevilla result. You
Dude,
thought they'd come out fighting.
So did I, dude. And it was like the opposite of that. We like got embarrassed against Sevilla, and you got to beat Brighton to get to the semifinals. Let's roll them. You know, we got 2 goals, but dude, that should be a 4-0. That team was like fair, bro.
Made them look better than they were,
yeah,
too.
we should have squashed the Seagulls in the first half. Should have been over. So overall, lackluster performance after dropping out of the Champions League. But hey, a win's a win. Going to the Wembley.
Yeah, no, and you said McTominay didn't have too good of a game. You know, I thought he didn't have that great of a game, but he had fight. You know, he had good moments of good passes. He never kind of let it get to him. He was always running, always working hard for the team. So, you know, a youngster's always going to have an off game, but he had fighting spirit. That's what you want to see from a Manchester United player. So I wouldn't write him off just yet, even though, you know, he might not have had the best game.
Dude, kids do for one bad game, right? Matic has bad games. So this is actually like his first bad game. So he was due. No worries.
Pogba and Sanchez on the bench. That's a lot of money sitting there. A lot of money just sitting there.
It's expensive.
In big warm jackets, not doing much. Pogba, who knows what's going on with him? Can't believe it. Shadow of his former self. Still acting like a fool on social media despite his form that has dropped. He's not even starting for Manchester United. I don't know what's up with Pogba.
But Sanchez,
I assume he's going to go to the World Cup and like be a killer, which is just going to drive Manchester United fans crazy. I don't know, sir. Again, the Pogba saga.
And then Sanchez is like Instagramming at the gym, bro, shirtless. Sanchez is just like flexing the gym on his Instagram story. Good dude, be at the gym. I think Sanchez is going to break through. I think he's going to figure out his flow in this team, and he's not a bust. But Pogba, I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried about Pogba. We'll see what happens. Jose Mourinho reached the FA Cup semifinal stage for the first time since 2007 when managing Chelsea for the first time. So finally going back to the FA Cup semis, sir.
Hey, that's heritage right there. Jose Mourinho sucks in the FA Cup. Sit on that one, Jose.
I know, bro. No Louis van Gaal, right? His one piece of silverware. But Mourinho has won 15 of his 17 home FA Cup matches, winning all 3 with Manchester United by an aggregate score of 12-0. So he hasn't had the best track record in the FA Cup, but with United, he might have a thing going. So we need that silverware, bro. That's it.
Hey, it's a sad story, but it's like, you know, it's like Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're our only hope. The FA Cup, you're our only hope this season. For Manchester United fans, that's not what we want to see. We wish that we had, you know, a Champions League semifinal or something to hold on to. But, you know, we have to just go all in FA Cup and go for number 2 in the league, which, you know, I think is an improvement, but it just kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. It seems like an Arsenal season. You're like, oh, we're doing the FA Cup.
FA Cup or bust.
Yeah, FA Cup.
Yeah.
Speaking of the FA Cup, we're actually looking at the draw right now.
Tottenham.
Yeah, so it looks like Manchester United is going to play Tottenham.
Spurs.
Ooh, wow.
Remember what happened last time we played at Wembley against Spurs? We did not look good. That was the 2-0 where they got that goddamn illegal goal off the jump. So
yeah,
big game.
Big game. Manchester United versus Tottenham. Hey, I'd rather play in big games. Chelsea's got Southampton. They played like shit against Leicester, so good for them. They get to play a shit team. But, you know, Manchester United, I hope we get to bully Tottenham off the field. I don't think Pogba's going to start that game. I think we need a second chance. That was one of the more humiliating performances we had. Although, like you said, that first goal shouldn't have stood.
No. But, yeah, I mean, either way, we look like shit that game. I think that early goal, like, totally knocked us on our ass. But I think we need
I don't know. The way we're playing now, sir, Tottenham looks a little sharper than we are in possession. That could be a concern. But, you know, maybe Jose figures it out in time.
They bottled it in the Champions League as well against a much better team than we did, but they still bottled it Spurs fashion, right? Like,
hey, well, let's not get too upset. You know, Lukaku is in form. He has scored 12 goals in his last 11 FA Cup appearances. The only match he failed to score in those 11 games was against Manchester United for Everton. So he's sharp in the FA Cup. With Lukaku in form, we can beat anyone on the day.
I know. All we need is the other 10 players around him to step up their game and actually put a shift in. So Luke's on form at the right time. I think, you know, he's still tinkering around the starting 11. What the hell is our best starting 11, bro? I got no idea.
Hard to say.
I
don't think Lingard starts. Either way, injuries. Herrera, Rojo, Blind, all still out. There you go. Daley Blind, your favorite player, out of injury. I'm sure most Manchester United fans didn't even know. Zlatan
still on our team, by the way. Still
Zlatan's
on our team.
healthy. I want him to play.
Back in training.
Want Zlatan to play. Where is Zlatan?
He's back in training, bro. I mean, we got an international break coming up, so there's no football this weekend. Next weekend, excuse me. So maybe a little extra time, Zlatan could feature.
I hope so. I mean, he's dangerous. He's a great player. I think it's more of a morale boost. I think the team is missing that leader in the locker room. I think we underestimate how big of a role Zlatan played for the youth last season. He scored a lot of goals, was instrumental in us winning a lot of things, and that mentality he has, the professionalism he brings to the squad is missing. And that might have been taken over by him not being there and Pogba being the guy running the show, which is just like not really going.
Dude, Lukaku's
so
the
well,
captain, right? Lukaku's the future captain of that team. You look at that team, who's got the most passion? It's like Lukaku all day. He has staying power. Fans already love him.
Make a highlight. Someone should make a highlight video of all of his celebrations off of the goals he doesn't score.
Oh, he's not scoring.
He's not scoring. He's on his knees, just like screaming and pounding the badge. Like, yeah, I don't know if it's full sea level, but you know where Lukaku stands. You know he wants to win everything. He comes out first to talk to the press after the Sevilla loss. He tells the press players went missing. He's willing to face the criticism. He's willing to bounce back. He's the first one back on the pitch. Last one on the pitch, sending the fans off. Lukaku, classmate.
Dude, he's a perfect Manchester United player, bro. He's such a good signing. I'm so excited that he's on our team.
It's like the yin and yang. Him and Pogba are like the yin and yang, you know? They're kind of opposites in certain ways.
He's quiet and loud on the pitch, man. That's what we need. So anyway, next match, international break. Like I said, no football next weekend. But
enjoy the break.
Enjoy it. Enjoy Liechtenstein. Manchester United will be back the weekend after, end of March, versus Swansea at home, Old Trafford, Saturday, March 31st, 7 a.m. Pacific. Boys will be East Coast. We were going to Smithfield, official Manchester United bar of New York City. We will be there for the game. Hopefully we see some traveling Reds.
Sir, it's for your bachelor party too, so we'll be properly drinking some dark ale.
Yeah, we're bringing plenty of jerseys. Boys are traveling deep. Can't wait. Dark ale at 10 a.m.
It's going to be a riot. It's going to be a riot.
Hopefully we see some fellow fans there. But United sit 2 points clear of Liverpool, who have a game in hand at second place. So, fuck, man. Swansea's 14th. 3 points from the drop, everything to play for.
Would you say that's spitting distance, sir?
That is spitting distance, sir.
I know Jamie Carragher said it pretty far, so
dude, he's got some loogie distance. That guy.
Where's Jamie Carragher? Where is he?
He got suspended. He got suspended for the year.
Is he back yet? Is he back?
He's suspended
The whole year.
He's suspended for the rest of the season.
Oh my goodness.
They didn't fire him though. He'll be back.
Jamie Carragher. Oh my god. I hope Gary Neville makes fun of him when he comes back. That'd be great.
They're not allowed to.
That'd be a laugh.
Legal ramifications say no.
That'd be a laugh.
Record overall is actually not as good as I would have thought against Swansea. We've won 15, we've drawn 6, and we've lost 10. So, dude,
don't you remember Michu?
Oh my god,
dude, smoked us.
Me
Dude,
too.
Swansea is our number. They're a dangerous side. You know, it is at home. Again, we have to do the job. There's no excuse. We need the 3 points.
Because now it's all about finishing strong in the league, right? City have won it. They're going to try and win it against us at the Etihad. So we got to keep that pressure on, man. I think we 10 points, keep it 9, something. We got to finish strong.
Finish strong.
We need some victory.
Yeah,
we got to hit 80 points, right?
I think even if we lose the league, but we beat Manchester City, we'll be in a great position, sir. So what's your lineup?
I mean, hell, everything can happen between now and then, but I'm thinking big old Dave, back of the net. Valencia, I think it's going to be Bailly, Smalling, Young, Shaw's out. See ya, bro. And I think he's going to go midfield 3. McTominay, Matic, Pogba, Mata, Martial, Lukaku. Damn, no Sanchez again? That doesn't seem right.
That doesn't seem right. It's already in. It's already in. Sorry, you can't change it.
That's a new rule.
All right, Dave saves Valencia by Smalling, Young, McTominay, Matic, Mata, Sanchez, Rashford, Lukaku.
No Pogba.
Pog benched.
Benched.
I mean, when you're just trying to win 3 points, I don't think Pogba's going to help you get there, especially when Mourinho doesn't trust a player. If he doesn't trust a player, and I don't know why you would when you saw Pogba jogging on Sevilla's second goal, you know, he's just not. You can't trust him going back. How can you play a midfield player doing that? And especially Mourinho. If you're talking about any other manager, you know, you paid the money, you got to play the big name stars. I get that, but Mourinho doesn't care how much it costs.
Good.
And if he doesn't trust you,
good.
I think Pogba's.
But
I don't think he's Pog out. I think he's Pog bench
Pog
for the
bench.
meantime. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, maybe he can go play for France and get some form back, but he needs to do something, bro, because it ain't working. And I like the fact that Mourinho's benching him because no player should just assume that they're like a bang-on starter. You know, if they're not playing well.
Given you don't have Sanchez in your lineup, what's the prediction?
2-0. You know,
I'm gonna say 3-1. Sanchez, he gets 2. Lukaku gets 1.
I
So
hope
Sanchez opens his.
needs a Premier League goal.
Needs to get back in form and get the Chilean some goals. United in the news. Speaking of Big Luke, he's quoted, "We are Manchester United. We have to improve every year, and I know that a lot of players, a lot of good players, will come in next season. That's for sure." Big Luke. Speaking like the captain.
In the know.
Saying it like it should be said. We are going to get better every year. We're Manchester United. We do not fuck around, and we got to be catching those noisy neighbors.
Because they're making a lot of noise, man, and oof, they're making a lot of noise. So Lukaku's got it. He probably is in the know about who we're bringing in at least. Doesn't know who's getting the boot yet, but he's probably got a feeling. But yeah, dude, always making the squad better. There's definitely some driftwood we got to get rid of in that team for
I think
sure.
They said 7 players.
7 players out?
7. Yeah.
Probably. I mean,
So you got
Darmian, Blins, Young. Who else? Shaw.
No, I think Mourinho wouldn't get rid of Young because he rates him as a utility player, especially if he goes to the World Cup. So Darby and Blinn, Shaw, Fellaini, Herrera could go.
We'll see.
Right?
Bro, Pogba
Jones, that's 6. That's 6. Pogba could go, right? Yeah, I don't think Pogba's going to leave, but you're looking at 6 to 7 players can be moved on easy. I think we have to buy 4. Center back.
There's some young kids
back.
that are ready to step up, right? I think Fosu-Mensah is ready to play right back.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yep.
I don't know about Piera, but Fosu-Mensah for sure.
I think Piera should come back. But Mourinho's thoughts on the game, he was quoted, "No, I did not like the game. I think we deserved to win, but the game was in control for the majority of time. We did not play the way I wanted to play. I did not get the reaction from the players, just some of them." Mourinho quoted after the match, just ripping into the squad. He even went as far as saying he drilled, the back four building up, passing in between the defensive lines, and the players did not execute. The only players he called out having a positive impact was Modric and Lukaku. Which is fair. It was a scathing post-game presser. So last time he kicks the club in the nuts. This time he kicks the players in the nuts.
Kick the players in the nuts.
So everyone to blame but Mourinho? Is that kind of... I think last time it was his fault. This time it's the players' fault. If you were to think about it, how you should spin it, the spin zone, last time it should be like, I went with the wrong tactics. Fellaini was not the right start. Hoofball was not the right idea, although he can make an argument that he thought it was. This time, the players didn't come to play, which I agree with.
They didn't. They also didn't come to play against Sevilla, but he's always been a tactic, apparently, in Mourinho to protect the players, but he certainly didn't do that last game.
Yeah, he said they didn't show up, and
Well,
I think he was called. So if you were saying who he called out, it's got to be Luke Shaw. Shaw didn't play.
Called McTominay out.
Called McTominay, and I believe Lingard was Lingard and Martial. It could have been Martial, but I believe he was talking about Lingard when he was saying that,
We said Modric was an island on himself. He
yeah.
was like, no one around him was doing anything.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty bad, and I think his argument to the board and to Ed Woodward is, look, I need better players, and unfortunately as Manchester United fans, it feels like deja vu, because every year it's like, oh, well, we're not there yet, we just need to buy more players, but the problem is we're buying players, we're just getting rid of all these players we paid so much money for, so I don't know if it's the managers or Ed Woodward. I mean, we don't have a footballing director. Where's Sir Alex Ferguson to straighten the ship out? At least, we need to have somebody who's there while the managers are leaving, so that the talent can be reused again. Because LVG coming in and buying all these shit players, Mourinho coming in, getting rid of them all, it just seems like a giant waste of money. And you look over at Manchester City, and they do buy a lot of players, but a lot of them kind of stick. And they're kind of performing over the long term, and that's something that we're not.
They just replace them. They just we'll just buy Laporte. Stones is like not there yet. Let's buy Laporte. And they just spend £55 million, and it's not a big deal. We don't do that. £55 million for a center back would be the biggest deal for United, and instead it's just like they just spend money and they're not afraid to overpay, and that's the difference between us and them.
Yeah. No, we spent similar amounts of cash. City has spent more, but I think our buys have been a little more shocking. I'm going to leave that to LVG. Louis Van Gaals.
No, it's
Army.
dude, and it's like the biggest player you signed isn't even starting, bro. The number one player you signed can't even make it on the team.
Speaking of not starting anymore, Mourinho's Shaw treatment is brutal per Sky Sports. You think it's brutal, or you think it's just the God's honest truth? He looks out of shape, looks out of fitness, and I don't think he really got along with Mourinho. So when a manager doesn't rate a player, just move on.
Dude, call it a day, man. After the leg break, you always had to worry that this was never going to work out with Luke Shaw, but. Dude, if any other fucking manager was insulting Luke Shaw, no one would give a shit. But it's Mourinho. Like, oh my God, it's brutal. Like, everything Mourinho does is the worst thing ever. Anyone they attacks, God forbid. Dude, Shaw should be fit.
Well, it's funny because you look at a manager, right, and you're like, he definitely hates Luke Shaw more than he should, and he definitely likes Fellaini more than he should. So
it's probably an attitude thing, right?
Each manager has a bias.
Shaw's got shit attitude.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know. We don't see the training. We don't see the conversations behind the closed doors. But for some reason, he doesn't like Luke Shaw, and he loves Fellaini, and the fans like Luke Shaw and hate Fellaini. So it's kind of this weird love-hate triangle between the manager, the player, the fans. But if Mourinho's the manager, he needs a left back that he likes and prefers, and we need to buy it this offseason.
It ain't Luke Shaw, bro.
Ain't Luke Shaw. Frustrated Mino Raiola wants Paul Pogba to leave Manchester United. Per the Daily Mirror. It's a Daily Mirror.
What is Mino frustrated about?
Mino Raiola. I think he needs another cheeseburger. Per the Daily Mirror, grain of salt. I don't know. I could see Pogba staying. I don't know why he would want to leave. Who wants him at this point? He doesn't look good. I mean, it's like, I'm not an expert, but Pogba is not playing well. And I mean, he does too much on the ball, takes too much time, takes too much risk. Even if you put him in Madrid, it's like Toni Kroos looks like a mile ahead of him. Coming out of Juventus, he looked like a boss. But right now, who wants Pogba? Who could we sell him to?
PSG.
Yeah, PSGs are just like...
No, PSG would take him, right? Because he's French, and they can market the fuck out of him, and it's a shit league, right? It's a shit league.
Yeah, you can just do all these dangles.
I can just dance around and hit bangers in. Yeah. So I love Pogba. I want him to stay, but, dude, I think he's got a bad attitude. I think that's becoming, very obvious that he's got a bad attitude. And he just looked like shit in these big games, dude. Looked like crap against Sevilla. Jogging around.
He played well last year. He played well earlier this year. So I don't know what's going on.
It was ever since we bought Sanchez, man. It's pissed him off. He's like, I'm not getting paid enough. But dude, you haven't deserved it. I'd pay Lukaku more than you in a second. Because he's delivered. He's had big games, and Pogba hasn't had a big game since when, bro? September.
Yeah, the players tested when they meet adversity during the season.
Exactly.
Lukaku was tested. He had a goal drought. Everyone was like, Lukaku's no good. Lukaku. Like, Morata's better. It's like, now look at it. Lukaku had that patch of adversity, comes back stronger. Pogba hit that patch of adversity, seems to be enjoying the bench. So it doesn't look good for Pogba. I don't want him to leave. What percentage chance would you put him on it?
50. I think it's
50-50. Really.
I honestly think it's that high. And
I think it's lower, mainly because he had some public displays of affection for Mourinho. I think if the team wins the FA Cup and they finish second, I think that's a good story. And I think if Pogba leaves, he's kind of copping out. And I think it's going to depend on what people will pay for him as well. So if we can't get someone to pay top dollar for Pogba, I don't think he's leaving.
Well,
so
I'm going to
put it at 30. I'm going to put it at 30% because he's playing bad. People are not going to pay top dollar for him.
They won't. Top dollar, right? We're not going to make a lot of money off of him.
Manchester United's not going to sell him for less than
no, of course
like
not.
70 million.
There's
no way.
No, they won't sell him for less than 90, bro. They will not lose money on Pogba. They won't allow it. Because Dembele went for 150 million pounds, bro. It's like
that's true.
Dembele went for 150 million pounds.
Yeah, bad Paul Pogba's worth 125 in this market.
Easy. Because the market's insane. So it's like he'd go to Paris and he'd bang in goals, and that would be that. And they'd still not win the Champions League. But anyway. Former Manchester United boss Louis van Gaal slams unprofessional players during his OT reign after progress emails went ignored, according to the Daily Mail.
So what are progress emails?
Apparently, he was sending around progress reports to each of the players in preparation for their, one-on-one meetings. They went unopened.
They didn't read them.
They didn't read them. Fuck this. I'm good.
Yeah, something about LVG, didn't come off. I think he's a good manager. I just think he didn't want to get in the weeds as much, and so maybe these progress reports, players just thought they could just toss aside. And LVG's kind of a joker. His press conferences are still amazing. Like I like to say, glad it happened. Glad it's over.
Don't
LVG forever.
Don't want
Love
him to be our
LVG.
manager, bro.
Fell on the ground, slapped Ryan Giggs.
Twice.
Had a blast. Legend and scholar, Louis Van Gaal. But something about his team didn't add up. You know, they didn't seem to be doing the work he required them to do. Giggs was involved. You know, he knew the Manchester United way, and Rooney was there. He had leaders in the side, but maybe Rooney was over the hump, and, you know, they just didn't really respect him, I don't think, at the end of the day.
No, it just didn't work. Didn't work for United. He was kind of a joke. I mean, the best was like after year one when he got absolutely ham-boned at the end of the year party like that and started just like rambling on in that speech, and that was probably my highlight.
Strong.
Just like, we're so close.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's like he is who you think he is. LVG just lives his life in a certain way. He's out there and doesn't care. You know, he told his players, he's like, you got to be horny before every match, and Mata was like, we laugh just like you guys on the press. You know, he's like, everyone was kind of laughing at him. No one took him too seriously. And maybe that's a cultural difference between, you know, playing in the Netherlands and playing in England. People just laugh at you a little more.
Well, that's fucking accent. Anyone will laugh at him. And, you know, he's still
Queen's Park Raisins?
He's still getting paid, bro. He's still getting paid by Manchester United for that contract. So, like, he shouldn't be complaining too much. Anyway, more banter. Manchester United move ahead of rival City in 40 million race for Shakhtar Donetsk ace Fred, according to the Sun.
Ace, he's a central defensive midfielder. Mourinho needs that player. We need that one CDM to start ahead of McTominay. I think McTominay's a great player for the bench right now. He can play in the cup competitions. But we need that partner for Matic, that bang-on world-class CDM. What do you think about Fred, sir?
Sir, I don't know a ton about Fred, but we definitely need a player like Fred, or what I imagine Fred to be. You know, we need like a Conte, a Dembele, you know, someone that's just like a bruiser, more bruiser.
Workforce in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Someone to give Matic, you know, Matic doesn't have to cover as much. Give him some room to roam. As we've seen as of late, Matic just has an eye for goal. You like him to have a partner where he has that relationship where he can move up. I mean, I was watching old United matches, and Ferdinand would be getting in there. Right now, our CDMs don't even get in there because we're so nervous at the back. And, you know, I think a CDM is exactly what we need. And if City rate him, I say we buy him. That's 2 for 1. City doesn't get him, and we
like
improve. That's the way we need to do business against Manchester City. We need to be swooping them.
Dude, they know how to scout. I hate to say it. They definitely know how to scout, and they know how to get good players. So if they have them, let's just pip them. Dude, let's do it.
Not a bad name, Fred.
Hey, Fred.
Hey, Fred. All right,
Flintstone, baby.
Fan questions. Does this team lack passion and consistency?
Yes.
At Mayak Pratip
Yes.
on Twitter. Yes, we do. I'm not gonna say the team. I'm gonna say certain players don't know how to turn it up. I don't know if the playlist in the locker room isn't on point. I don't know if they're not getting amped. I don't know if they haven't watched the history of Manchester United. But we gotta. If you're John O'Shea, or if you're Paul Pogba, you gotta be fighting for the badge, full 90 minutes, working hard, and leaving it all out on the field. And that's something that should be easy because players should know what team they're playing for. Manchester United, never give up, never say die. That attitude is just missing. You can blame the manager, but I think he's telling the players they need to show up, and I don't think they're able to do it on their own.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like a tale of two cities. There's a camp of players that you could see the passion, and you could see it in their performance, and then there's a team of players that isn't. And I think since the Sevilla loss, when like players started calling out other players, like some people didn't show up. Lukaku said that after Sevilla, said some players just didn't show up, and that Lukaku was like one of the most soft-spoken guys on the team. For him to say that, that's like shots fired. He'd be like, dude, I was running around, I was making things happen, but nobody else was. And it's true.
And it's true because, you know, a lot of those players, you know, you can look at a Jesse Lingard, and he's been playing well, but can he turn up in those big games? He had 2 big games, and I'm going to say he didn't. And he's playing number 10 on Manchester United. And it's like, if you're going to play number 10 on Manchester United and you're not going to turn up, then I don't think you can be in the starting 11. And that maybe shows he's a young player. It's not anything against Jesse Lingard. I love Jesse. Having him come on and run up players is great. But when you need someone to be a professional and turn it on when the whistle first blows and make an impact on the game, it's a different skill set.
It is. It is. And, you know, he was firing over the holidays. He was firing a month ago. But this team's got a lot not going right at the moment. You know, there's definitely like a...
You can't play him and Sanchez. I think that's an issue, too. We kind of discovered him and Sanchez in the side. They try to do the same thing. They both come inside, and it doesn't work. I like to see Mata at 10. Mata's a great number 10.
Mata, Sanchez, and Lukaku. I think that'd be a great front three. Only 2 have speed, but either way, Lingard's looking a little out of form at the moment, but
He's academy lad, right? So doesn't he know the history? Doesn't he want to
should.
fight for the badge?
He should.
You
Certainly
know?
should, but he hasn't
And
shown it.
Matic used to play for Chelsea last year. Now he's the one fighting for the badge. Lukaku used to play for Everton. Now he's the one fighting for the badge. So it's funny where the passion's coming from. It's coming from outside the team. Maybe Jesse needs to go play for Everton for a few years, and he'll come back and start fighting for the badge.
Hope
Because
not.
he'll realize I'm not playing at Everton. Maybe that adds to it.
I mean, Pogba did, right? He went to UV. He ain't showing no passion. He's showing the opposite.
Well, he was a
passion.
boss at Juve. He played in the Champions League final. You know,
They win that
everyone was
one or
talking
what?
the town. He didn't win, but
No.
you know, he had the ego and the flair, and he thought he was the man. So you know, of course, he's not finding the passion here. He has to work too hard in the EPL. Next question: is the FA Cup and second in the league good enough this season? Pedro from Albuquerque. Sir, is it good enough for Manchester United?
No, of course not. Not even close. But at this point in the season, it's all we have left to fight for. That's the best we can ask. But if you were to say, like, at the beginning of the season, all right, you win the FA Cup and you finish second, are you happy? I'd be like, no, I'm not happy. But I'll take it at this point because we got to beat Spurs, and then we'll probably play Chelsea in the final if we beat Spurs. It's not the easiest road to get there. It's not Southampton. It's not playing the Eagles in the final, or we played Southampton.
Lads, it's Tottenham.
It's Tottenham, bro. And Tottenham isn't playing that well at the moment, so we got to do the job. They've had our number recently, but would you be happy with that, sir?
I would be happy with it. I would say if you were under the Sir Alex Ferguson era, I would not be happy with just the FA Cup and second in the league, especially with Manchester City winning. It's an extra bad taste in your mouth and the amount they're winning by. But going by the post Sir Alex managerial results, this is a successful result because it shows linear improvement to last season. Jose is playing well. He's winning silverware. If we were to finish second, I don't need to remind everyone where we finished the last 5 years. Finishing second is big for us, and we can close the gap with City. And winning the FA Cup is just cherry on top. So we'd be in the Community Shield next year. We'd play Manchester City. I think that'd be a big statement game for us. And, I'd be happy, obviously, because we can't win anything else. But I don't think we're ready to win the Champions League. And I don't think we're ready to win the league. And so if you had to choose between the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, I'd choose the FA Cup, playing at Wembley, big match, big teams, and we got to do the business. So all in on the FA Cup. We have the payroll. We have the players. It's just all about execution on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, I would take second above all else now, with FA Cup or Carabao Cup. I want to finish second. We got to be the second best team in the league. And we should be the second best team in the league by a distance. So let's finish strong in that category. FA Cup, it'd be good to bring back home some silverware. It is just the FA Cup, but it's better than the Carabao Cup. Carabao, energy drink cup. You fucking kidding me?
Still a cup, sir.
Still a cup.
League Cup.
FA Cup.
Yeah,
I mean, the FA Cup is a storied cup, but let's finish second. Let's get both, and then let's build on this year.
Maybe Mourinho can do a jig.
Doubt it. I don't
Alan
think
Pardew dance on the sideline.
I don't think he's
after
be holding
scoring
up
against
two. I
Manchester
don't think he's
United.
be holding up two for second place.
No, we're not. Hey, look, we're not Arsenal. We're not going to celebrate coming in fourth. We're Manchester United. We're professionals. Let's do the job. Let's get second. Let's win the FA Cup. Let's get it done. Get over the finish line and call it a year.
Let's get Lukaku to 30 goals,
and
dude.
let's look to the summer and let's acquire some good players. Like you said, maybe Pogba gets on form for France. Maybe he rediscovers his professionalism, and maybe we look like another team next year. I think Manchester United, any team that just buys a ton of players, like I think Queen's Park Rangers did it in the past. Anytime you just buy a ton of players, like LVG did it, bought a ton of players, try to make them all play one season, it always goes bad. Players need time to gel. They need seasons to get to know each other. You have to learn the chemistry of the team, learn how you're going to play, learn how you're going to face adversity. Going down 2-0 at Crystal Palace, obviously they came back. There's more intangibles to a football team than just buying good players and sliding them in. For some reason, Pogba isn't doing the job. McTominay steps up. We learned that over a season. Hey, maybe next year we're going to know that and we're going to do better. I mean, at the beginning of this season, we thought we were going to win the league. Everyone thought Manchester United to win the league. Lasted a month.
Started the season like that, and then City just kept rolling. But
I mean, that was based on our form. That was based on how we were winning. We were just dominating games, and we started well. So let's hope that we add players and we start well again next season. And City just Claudio Bravo it up and let some goals in playing this ticky-tacky stuff, and hopefully people will figure them out.
Let's hope so, sir. Let's hope so. But in the meantime, we got one thing on our mind, and that's going to be kicking a blue through the international break.
Enjoy the break, everyone.
Swansea next.
Swansea, we're coming for you. Kicking a blue.
Kicking a blue.
We fought in the snow.